Have you ever wanted to escape the problems of the Western world? Move to a tropical island where the sun shines year-round, fresh fruit is grown locally, and you can play in the ocean at a moment's notice? The only problem is, if you go to an island like this, and you only know how to speak English, you'll be confined to tourist zones, strategically designed to drain you of your hard-earned Western money, which can be worth up to 20 times more on islands like these. If you move to one of these islands and speak its primary language, you can truly escape the rat race and live an authentic human life. But how can you learn the foreign language of these islands before stepping foot on their exotic shores? Simple. You load up a video game that takes place on an exotic island, change its language, and get to work. Today's video is going to be taking a look at one of the world's most famous island games, Super Mario Sunshine, and seeing how effective it is at teaching a foreign language. Because it's a game from 2002, you'll likely want to emulate it or purchase a remastered version, which will give you access to all of the game's language options. Those options are English, French, German, Spanish, Italian, and Japanese. Since it's a Mario game, I figured the most appropriate language to choose would be Italian. So, I selected it and started my adventure. Here's what I found. There are a ton of characters to talk to, and because the game is made for all ages, the dialogue isn't exceptionally difficult. You have to press a button to progress through conversations, so the reading and translating can be done at your own pace. There are a plethora of different levels and areas, and as the game advances, the dialogue from the old characters changes, so it doesn't hurt to revisit some familiar faces. The potential for this game is really what you make it, because there are some characters that are hidden in far nooks and crannies of the world. Because of the high availability of dialogue within the game, as well as the low complexity, I'm going to rate this game as being appropriate for beginners. You can go into this game knowing nothing about your target language and be just fine. All you need is Google Translate and Wiktionary. But can you go into this game knowing nothing about gaming? As I said before, this is a platforming game, which means at the end of the day, the game is about jumping from one area to another without falling to your doom. Which means that if you want to unlock more characters to speak with and more dialogue options, you need to be good at, well, platforming. Okay, maybe good is an overstatement. The game was made for all ages after all, but it was meant to have those all ages be engaged for multiple hours on end. A lot of the early levels are nice breaks from reading and translating, but as the game progresses, they can actually get quite difficult. If you breeze through the levels, then the game will mostly still be about language learning. But if you get stuck, the game could become a platforming hell with not much hope for new opportunities of unlocking new dialogue. You could always still go back and talk to characters on older levels for review, however. Because of this, I'm going to list its gameplay ratio as being between 30 to 90% gameplay. Just like in real life, you can progress through the whole game and barely speak to another character. On the other hand, you can't unlock all of the characters to speak with and all the dialogue available without progressing through the game. The ball's really in your court with this one. You get to decide when to read, translate, and study, and when to play video games. Sometimes you have no choice but to play the game. But if you've done your due diligence, seeked out as many characters as you can find, read and translated their text, it'll be a nice welcome break. This fact that you're not really forced to translate anything, combined with the limited language options, lack of voice acting or online features, and progressively increasing difficulty of the gameplay, makes me give this game a rank of B. It's filled with fantastic dialogue to get you started on your language journey, but it doesn't have too many language options, and it can quickly potentially become too much of a gamer's game, which could frustrate those who don't have the quickest joystick thumbs. I hope you enjoyed this video and agree with the rating. Please leave a comment letting me know which games you think I should do next. Thanks, and see ya!